Hello. Well, some of us are having a little bit of trouble with our scroll work, and here was one of my instructions that I wrote out some time ago to show you on paper. But now let's do it physically, and I might give you some idea of how, well, I think it's simple because us professionals always think things are simple, but of course with learners it's not, because they haven't had the experience of seeing all this stuff. So here I go. Now, what I always think of is rhythm. So I'm doing just a simple wave. Okay, you're going surfing, and that's what all this is around. This is around this. Okay, now I haven't drawn it, shall we say, systematically like on my instructions there with all these lines and things on. So I'm just doing it by hand, freehand, like I normally do. I normally sit with my pencil and paper on my lap while I'm watching television. But here we go. So now we are going from left to right, so the scrolls are going to turn in here. Okay, so I'm working here. So I'm going to make my pathway around here. So I know the distance. So if I'm doing all my distances around about here, so all my leaves to go in this roadway. So even if I miss this part, I can just still carry on because I'm following this line here, you see. And so that is how some scrolls are constructed. They'll go to the centre. So I'm leaving enough room to put leaves in. So the same it goes again here. On the other one, I'll give you the idea, is with the top one here, I made, shall we say, an oblong, and I cut the corners here. See? So it's halfway through, or just 3/4 of the way, maybe less, of course. It's according to how much streamlining you want on the scroll. So I've still got my roadway running around here, you see. But the idea is, because it's all done with this movement, very angular, you will find that you will get round better. So once you've done that, all you do then is you correct your line here. I don't work Procreate. Procreate does all this for you, but I'm not anti, but to become reliant on mechanical things, to my mind, doesn't give you the same as working with pencil and paper, because you have to do a bit of thinking and you've got to do your own corrections, you see. So I'm going back on this one. Now, because a lot of people are not draftsmen and thought of as draftsmen, so their pencils and whatever will go all over the place and wobble like that. You see, so I've got a wobble in there. I'll do one here. So I'm doing this type of thing, and I'm finding my way around, and I'm making mistakes here, but I don't use the eraser. So I'm doing this. So I'll get a bit of what I call blue tack, or it's putty rubbers and things like that you get from art shops, or this stuff is for sticking your Christmas cards on the wall and all that thing. So it's just this malleable stuff. So if I wanted to ghost this, I would rub that down. So now I've got a ghost of that. So I'm not worried about the other things. I can follow the decent lines I've put in there and go around. So I'm sitting at an angle on this here. I'm drawing it larger than I normally would do. So there you are. And so I would correct that. I think I've got it correct. Or I give it another rub again or something. Oh golly, there we go. So I'll rub a bit down and it will take some of that other stuff out, and then I can correct again if I want to, you see. So that is how a lot of artists work, you see. So you don't have to erase your thought lines. So now that is the rhythm we're going to work with, right? Now, I explained it to somebody that asked a few questions. I said, what type of scrolls are you after? What type of work do, you see? So on this one, this is like the English scroll, like I was taught with gun engraving. But then this one has leaves coming out in a different way. So this is the more popular way. This may be like Weldon. He engraves like this, you see. He does like an English scroll, but more open in the Nimschke style. Now, Nimschke is of Austrian, born in Austria and worked in the same technique, the Germanic technique, you see. So now I've got this movement here. This is ideal in some respects for learner engravers. You see, you come along here, you touch the line. If you're going to cut away the background, you see, you may feel that there's not a lot of space here. But of course, when you cut away the background, this negative here becomes wider in the eye, you see, so there's a lot of space. So if you actually make a leaf too long and too much space, it becomes off balance, to my mind, and to lots of the sculptors of the past, of all their stuff. So you work up the ladder. This is still reiterating some of my other lessons I've taught. So you do this, so you work it around here. Travis is one of the people that asked me a few questions. So now we have this, and we're working around like so, you see. And there are ways of altering and doing things slightly. You can, this is maybe a bit too advanced, bring this one around here just to make a little bit of interest. And this is all done with a little, shall we say, knob style endings of the leaf. And now I'll put another one in here, but that's coming underneath, so it looks as though it's coming from the other side, as though this has got more form. All right, and so we're doing this movement here. Now, of course, this would have been cut, your backbone would have been cut first with not a terrific amount of depth, but sometimes you might need this according to what you're working on. If you're working on delicate jewellery or something fine, you don't need to go too heavy on it. If you're working on Western revolvers like Weldon is, and people want to see it across the field, across the range or whatever it is, you put some more into it. See, it's according to the wide open spaces you work from, you see. If you've got somebody that's sitting down and he's cleaning his guns and he's got his little magnifying glass out and he's a bit of a connoisseur of engraving, that's who you work for when you're doing the finer stuff, you see, the Bellino. But the average person, I wonder how many people actually look. They see it as being pretty, and that because they're not educated like engravers are, that see it every day, and most of the top quality professionals see every little nuance. Shall we say, it's like being on a panel of anything, you know, where you're going to exhibit your work and you're going in for competition. The professionals always see those little things that the average person won't see. So I'm doing this, you see, so you can see how it's built up.